Hi, Sapdolf. Have you been working on anything interesting recently?
Yeah, I've had a few things going on outside of YouTube, but today I've got something interesting to share with you.
What's that?
This is my browser AI agent, a project that allows artificial intelligence to use a web browser. I built it from scratch. But before we get into technical details, let me show you how it works.
Oh, okay.
I'm asking AI to find a book related to artificial intelligence on Amazon. By the way, this book is important, as it covers not just the development of AI, but also the risks and ethical considerations involved.
Oh, I see that the book has been found.
Yes, this book can be bought. I can continue conversation with the agent and ask what the book's ratings are. At the moment, the agent is performing various operations in the background, such as executing JavaScript. Alright, it's finished and reported a rating of 4.2. Let's check. Yes, that's the correct rating.
What else can you do with it?
It depends on what you expect. It's a bit like a conversation with an AI chat, but equipped with access to a browser, or like interactive work with a browser without having to operate it. It's like having an assistant who operates the web browser for you.
That's smart. Could you ask for a summary of the book's details?
Sure. I can refer to the page's content and request various tasks to be done, like filling out forms. I can even ask for unusual requests that I normally couldn't manage on my own. I'll demonstrate that shortly. But first, let's request a summary of the content. We've got a summary of the book based on the text from the page. It seems like they've even included bits that aren't currently visible.
I must say, it is quite nice.
Yes, it is, and it can be quite useful.
But you said that with an agent, you can do more than just regular website usage.
It's true. You can ask the agent to modify the page in a custom way. For example, I asking it to make the page black and white.
Whoa! The page just turned black and white.
Yes, the agent can modify pages even in ways not intended by their creators.
Okay. You said me that you created this agent from scratch. Could you say something about how it is built?
Sure, it might be easiest if I show the architecture of the solution.
Oh, okay.
This is the architecture of this solution.
I know this diagram.
Yes, I already presented it in the previous video.
Which one?
The one called Build a Web Browser AI Agent. I was testing various concepts there and building two agents operating on special web pages.
Yes, I remember. Let's return to architecture.
Okay, I'll give a quick overview. For those who want to dive deeper, I recommend watching the first video where I explain everything in detail, including the source code. Essentially, I'm talking about creating a universal MCP server that runs on MQTT, which provides a great level of flexibility. This MCP server is connected to an agent built with the OpenAI Agents SDK. Meanwhile, a browser interacts with the MCP server via MQTT, as previously mentioned. The agent can then request the HTML code of the current page, or execute JavaScript, enabling any kind of interaction with the website.
So what is the difference compared to previous versions, and how did it come to work with any website?
Let me show you. I've developed a browser extension. And yes, it works for Chromium, but honestly, the browser doesn't really matter. This extension connects with the MQTT broker to execute any commands that come through that channel from my agent. Let's check extension's configuration. There are only two settings: MQTT broker address and the topic prefix that is handled by the current browser. This is important if I want to manage multiple browsers. I will leave the pop-up of my extension open so that the last message is visible. I'm asking my agent to find the charming Cristianso Island on Google Maps. The window showed that the code ran successfully, and yes, Cristianso was indeed found. Follow the last message pop-up now, and I will ask for a zoom out.
It's changing so quickly that I was not able to read it.
That's true, but at least it shows that communication is occurring. However, I have a better idea on how to demonstrate it. After all, one of the benefits of MQTT is that it provides excellent observability. I'm starting to listen to all topics beginning with coding. This will let us see the entire communication between the MCP server and the browser.
So we see here everything published by the agent, or rather the MCP server, and the browser, right?
Exactly. We should see the entire communication here, and it's been published already. The agent sent a very simple JavaScript code to the topic coding/execute, and the browser extension executed the code and returned the message through coding/response/executed. Let's do something unusual to see more communication. I'm asking to rotate the logo.
Oh, the logo is rotating.
Yes. Let's see how the communication looked like. As you can see, first the agent requested the HTML code to understand the content of the page. In response, the code was returned by the browser extension. Finally, the agent sent the HTML code for execution. The browser extension executed the code and returned the result. The result is important because it allows the agent to determine whether everything went according to plan. I'll ask for something additionally to test the agent's functionality, and then we will look at the diagram again.
Nice. Now the logo keeps rotating non-stop.
Yes. In this way, we can perform different interactions with websites that were not anticipated by their creators. But let's move on to the diagram. If you're wondering how we monitored the communication, the Mosquito subcommand connected to the MQTT broker and subscribed to all the topics used by both the MCP server and the web browser extension. As I mentioned earlier, I used MQTT here to enhance the observability, flexibility, and potential scalability of the solution. Plus, I wanted to develop a versatile MCP server that could be easily implemented across various projects.
Okay, now maybe a bit of an uncomfortable question. Is your agent detected as automation? Because as we know, this can be an issue for more serious applications.
Let's check. One of the tests I trust in this regard is browser scan.
Yes, I believe it's a reliable test. However, earlier in the video, you visited Amazon, which I know also tries to detect and block automation.
I have mixed feelings about this. On one hand, maybe we should respect that some people or companies don't want automation on their site, especially since the internet is getting flooded with low-quality material generated by AI. But on the other hand, these are just tests, and we're not actually publishing anything.
I think it's time to get used to coexisting with AI in the public internet.
Yes, I agree this isn't a simple issue. But for now, let's get back to the technical topics and see how the detection process went.
The test result is normal.
Yes, the agent clearly summarized that the site didn't report any automation. This means there are no signs of automated browser mechanisms like Selenium. Clear benefit of our completely custom browser extension. Let's scroll down to see details. Can you believe? No single test is read.
Indeed, so the sites need more advanced forms of detection. And would you also show the source code of this solution?
If you're interested in the source code, I mainly covered that with details in the previous video. However, I'll show you that not much has changed with the agent since then. I think a sharp eye will quickly catch two little changes. First, we've got a new script to launch the MCP server, since its setup is a bit different. Second, the system prompt has been updated. As you can see, I aimed to keep it brief. When we check out the rest of the code, nothing has changed. This makes the agent pretty versatile. Now let's dive into the configuration of the universal MCP-MQTT server. The server setup is pretty straightforward. We've only got two tools in place. The first one is for executing JavaScript. As you might have noticed earlier, the topic is coding/execute. The response comes as coding response executed. The second tool is getHTML, which is used to fetch the page code. Similarly, we've set up two topics for handling it.
Actually, the changes are minimal. It's pretty similar to the agent you covered in the previous video.
The biggest change is the Chromium extension, which enables agent on any website. And here is its source code. I won't go into too much detail, but I'll give you a quick look. This is the main script of the extension. I use the PAHO library for handling MQTT. The connection is initialized at this point. The most important part of the MQTT executor is the code responsible for calling two methods. The first one, as we have seen, is getHTML, which allows the agent to view the page's code. And here is an important note. To avoid exceeding the context window of the model, I only send the first 15,000 characters. This isn't always enough. However, the agent can find a way to extract the content of the page through JavaScript in a more optimal way. The second important part is the execute method, which allows the execution of JavaScript. These methods allow the agent to do a lot on the pages, in fact almost everything, but the limitations I'll mention later. I just wanted to point out one more thing. Chrome extensions are event-driven, so I implemented a simple workaround to keep the connection to the MQTT server from dropping. It's a straightforward trick that involves sending messages regularly to prevent the extension from going idle.
Okay, clever. And what language model does this agent use?
I tested various models, and most of the examples we showed in this episode were performed by GPT 4.1. However, GPT-5 has recently been released, so we can conduct one more test using GPT-5 Mini.
Oh, GPT-5 Mini should be quite affordable.
I agree, and that's why I picked this model. I know there isn't a lot of positive news out there right now, but let's check out what the agent can find on the BBC website.
Do you expect it to be better than GPT 4.1?
OpenAI plans to replace all its models with the fifth one, so it should work fine. It's definitely noticeable that it takes longer to process, as it's a reasoning model with the default settings.
Yeah, but it's going forward.
It might take a bit more time, so it's a good idea to mention the agent's limitations now.
Are there any limitations?
Yes, the main limitation I see at the moment is that the website can prohibit the execution of JavaScript from external sources, and the browser respects this.
Are there any workarounds for this?
Yes, there are at least two workarounds that work. However, I wanted to mention this limitation because it might be significant for someone.
Okay, I understand. Fair enough.
I don't really see any other major limitations. I think this agent works quite well, especially when we use a better LLM. Programming in JavaScript by AI has reached a point where the models handle it flawlessly.
Yeah, that's right. We've definitely seen some significant progress lately.
We've got the results. It looks like artificial intelligence didn't find much positive news on BBC's site. This might just be a sign of the times, as bad news tends to sell better.
That's sad.
Indeed. But at least it must be said that the task was carried out correctly by the agent. We also have a mention that there is news about the new model from OpenAI.
All right. And that was part of what the agent needed to do.
Yes, and I think we can agree that it did a great job on the task. So, what do you generally think about the agent's performance?
For a proof of concept project, I think it works surprisingly well. It's interesting that just one person can develop something like this.
It's true, it's a side project. However, let's remember that thanks to artificial intelligence, our productivity increases significantly, and we can create projects faster.
And that's great. Benefit from AI.
Yeah, may artificial intelligence always bring you only benefits. See you next time.